Hello, everyone. Today is Friday, November the 17th. I'm Ryan Hill.
I'm John Galantis.
And you're listening to Clearview Today with Dr. Abadan Shah, the daily show that engages mind and heart for the gospel of Jesus Christ. You can visit us online at clearviewtodayshow.com, or if you have any questions for Dr. Shah or suggestions for new topics, send us a text to 252-582-5028, or you can email us at contact@clearviewtodayshow.com. You know, I say email us every episode, but our email inbox is getting cobwebs.
Yeah.
People text in a lot, and we love that. Please keep texting in. But some of you are emailers. You can email. That's fine.
Yeah. We. You know what? I got to go against the grain here. There's no need emailing. Email is dead, dude.
No, come on. Send an email. I email.
Who do you email? Do you email your favorite radio show?
I try to email you, but now this conversation has let me know why we keep having to refresh these issues.
Y'all can email if you want.
You can
but
email.
I understand why
there's an option.
That's right.
Some of you are like, hey, I don't really text. I'm not comfortable texting into a radio show. Send us an email.
Yeah. That's
contact@clearviewtodayshow.com.
You can do that. And whether you email or whether you text, you can help us keep this conversation going by supporting the show. Either way, you can share it online with your friends and your family. You can leave us a good 5-star review on Apple iTunes or on Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasting content from. We're going to leave some links in the description so you can do just that.
The verse of the day today comes from Mark chapter 12, verses 30 through 31. And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. This is the first commandment, and the second, like it, is this. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater than these.
Kind of sums up what's expected of us in the Christian life. There's a lot of checklists that Christian will give themselves to make other people around them accept them.
Yep.
Like go to church, put money in the offering plate, serve in the church. All those things are wonderful. Those are great, and we actually need those things. But to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, this is what God expects of you, you know?
And the context here is the scribes trying to trap Jesus, like, which is the greatest commandment?
Yeah.
Because if Jesus gives them one, then he is differentiating between the 10, because 10 commandments is what's in their mind. So he's going to differentiate between these 10 commandments, and they're going to be like, ha, got you. Mm-hmm. Like you're playing fast and loose with Moses' law. Mm-hmm. And so Jesus, he tells them that the 10 commandments are summed up in these 2 commandments.
That's right.
Love God first, then love God, then love people.
All the other ones come from that. And it's a funny thing, too, because, number one, they're trying to trap Jesus. But number 2, they're still so focused on what they have to do.
Right.
We have to follow the law. Look, Moses gave us that law, and we're following it. Are you saying you're greater than Moses? And then he's like, yeah.
Yes,
absolutely. Who do you think gave Moses that law? I'm saying that 100%.
Moses didn't come up with that off the top of his dome. Like that originated from me.
I wrote it. This is kind of unorthodox, but should we do 2 grapevines in a week?
Yeah. I think if the harvest is ready,
the harvest is plentiful. The fields are white unto harvest.
It would be irresponsible for us not to harvest.
I'm ready.
David,
I'm ready.
Submitted a formal grapevine request only this morning. I'm kind of hesitant because I think I know what he's going to gripe.
So today we are griping. Oh wait, you didn't do the sound.
Oh, sorry.
Welcome to the grapevine, everybody.
To the grapevine.
Okay, so
thanks for holding us accountable, Dave. Really appreciate that.
I didn't want to do a grapevine because I don't want this to feel like an unofficial gripe.
Right. Because this is a real official.
Yeah.
All right, my gripe is, I'm just gonna come out and say it. It's with people who disengage way too quickly.
I gotta go.
Hello. Yeah, no, I'm not busy. Nah, he's just doing a grapevine. It doesn't even matter. All right. I'll talk to you soon. All right, bye. What's up?
Bro.
Go ahead. Because I already know. I know what this is about.
First and foremost, when the podcast ends, Nicholas needs you to not disengage so quickly. Because Ryan's sitting here doing the outro, text the number, 252, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And you're over here, and as soon as Ryan starts talking, you're like,
yeah, I'm opening up my book to cross off today's episode. I've got to keep all the
That's you.
He said this is not your harvest.
Okay, so that's 1. 2, this extends into other areas, like if you're ever on a phone call or a FaceTime.
You generally, or me?
You. Not you generally.
Let's call it what it is. This is a graph about you.
Yeah, I can tell that.
So John has this habit of answering the phone and then, talking about whatever. But then if you're talking for what he perceives to be too long, he'll just hang up and just be done. So it's like, oh yeah, I thought that was pretty. Yep, bye.
All right, bro.
And we're just done
It's
talking.
not. It's not.
Mid-conversation.
It's not
mid-sentence,
mid-conversation.
mid-word.
Ryan, am I
even.
lying?
No,
It's
you're
not
absolutely telling the truth.
mid-conversation.
It
It's
is
just-
absolutely
It's
mid-conversation.
just once I have a feel of what the conversation's about.
You're done.
Right, but here's the thing. Like, a conversation is 2 parts. Otherwise, it's a monologue. So, in your mind, when you have finished your assessment of the conversation, you gleaned all the necessary information, you're like, I'm done with this now. Bye. But a conversation is a social engagement. It is a contract between 2 people to see that through to its completion.
I would say I do that really well professionally, like here on the radio show. Huh? Oh, you're done. You're not listening. I feel
What's up?
like there's like on the radio show. I feel like I do a pretty good job of that.
Or
like
you know what
building
else?
on conversation. Oh,
You know what else?
I guess I'm done.
Yeah, you're done. You know what else happens? There are times where, like last night, where we finish up at the gym, go out to eat. Me, you, Ellie,
Yeah.
and the 2 kids.
Yeah.
And everybody's sitting there having a good time, playing with the kids, talking back and forth. You finish your last slice of pizza. So you know what?
I'm ready to go.
Everybody else is eating. You're like,
For those of y'all listening, he's like getting up and waving bye. He's off camera. This is not good for radio.
yeah, but that's how you do.
Let me ask you a question, John.
Yeah.
Did you grow up around or with people who exhibited these same tendencies?
My father, 100%. So my father, when he's done with anything, I mean, y'all saw this at Gavin's birthday party a couple weeks ago. When he's done, he's done. Like we're eating and he finishes his meal. I can already tell you, after 30 years, I can still see it in my mind. He gets up, he goes outside to smoke a cigarette, and everybody at the table has until that cigarette is done to be wrapping up their meal, paying for it, because if he comes back into the restaurant, it's going to be bad. Like if we're out in public and he's ready to go home, he starts rushing. He's like, "All right, Lisa, you ready? We need to go on." And it doesn't cease. It doesn't stop. She'll tell him, "Mike, stop rushing me. Leave me alone." Blah 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 blah. But he is insistent. And when he's ready to be home and on his couch or in his bed, that's it. And you didn't used to be like that, but the older I've gotten, the more that I have. He was even like that with bedtime. When he's ready to go to bed, he would go to bed, and then 10 minutes later, he'd be like, "Guys, I said it's bedtime. Let's go." Everybody has to go to bed when he's ready.
That's the thing that you told me that makes me laugh, is that it's not just that he's done, it's that now everyone is
He would
done.
shut it down. He would come out. He would say the same thing every time. He would say, "The party's over."
And I think he may possibly, might be a stretch, but he possibly passed some of those tendencies onto you.
I think so, but I didn't try to start doing that. My dad, I don't think he doesn't hang up the phone real quick. I don't think I really hang up very quickly. I think it's just once the conversation has reached an end, I don't partake in the whole, all right, well, listen, man, how have you been? You been good? All right, cool. Well, listen, tell your mom I said hey, and anything. I don't do that. I'm like, okay, cool. See ya. Click.
No. You have hung up on me in the middle of me answering the question that you asked. I'm giving you the answer. I haven't even reached the end of the answer yet, and you're like, all right, cool. I was not done. I had much more to say.
Do y'all have other people in y'all lives that have done that? Have y'all ever experienced that? Or is this completely new to y'all? Have y'all never seen something like that at all?
No, I feel like for me, most of the time it's people who are on the opposite side. People who will do well, how you been?
Yeah.
How's your mom? How the weather outside today is crazy. Now I don't care for all that. Like if I'm calling you for something, let's get to the end of that conversation and be like, okay, all right, thank you very much. I'll talk to you soon. We don't even have a chance to get to that point.
Yeah. So no one else in your life has ever done that. What about you? You don't know anybody else who does that? Or
no,
just me?
I'm with Ryan. Normally, I'm on the opposite side where I'm the one trying to get off the phone. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so you understand why I'm like, hey,
right, but I just
cool,
don't.
See ya.
I guess I don't have the self-obliviousness to just hang up.
No, I don't think it's oblivious. I've gotten what I needed, and now we're done. I'll see you again soon. We'll talk. If you need something to say, we can talk. Or you can always call back.
Okay.
252-582-5028. I want to do that on the let's have someone call in on the radio show, and I'll see if I do it.
We'll see if we can mimic it. Call it on the radio show. You can call that same number that we tell you to text. You can actually call it as a phone number, 252-582-5028.
We get calls.
We'll answer. And
we never get calls while we're on the air because it's a pre-recorded show, but we do get calls all the time telling us how thankful people are for the show. I'm thrown right now, honestly. I didn't think it was going to take this turn.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
I want to get Dr. Shah's take because Dr. Shah's actually known you longer than I've known you.
I don't think I've ever talked to... Oh, I'm actually getting a call from the Clearview Today show. Hello, you're on Clearview Today.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
This is
Oh.
David. I'm calling.
This is David.
Oh, I see.
I'm calling.
Yeah, hey, he hung up. All right.
You've been duped. You've been had.
I've been had, my friends.
Unbelievable.
I've got some self-reflection to do. I've got a little bit of growing up to do. So this was nice. This was really nice.
Text in and let us know your take. What do you think? 252-582-5028. Give us a call and we'll see if John hangs up on you. I want to get Dr. Shah's take on this, so stay tuned after the ad. We'll be right back.
Hey everyone, my name's Ellie,
And I'm David.
and we want to take a minute and let you know how we can actually serve you as you're listening to Clearview Today.
The Bible paints an extraordinary picture of who we are as a church body. The mission of Clearview Church is to lead all people into a life-changing, ever-growing relationship with Jesus Christ. A huge part of leading people is praying for them. A big reason that Christians have unanswered prayers in their life is because they're not praying.
You know, 1 John 5:15 says, "And if we know that he hears us, whatever we ask, we know that we have the petitions that we have asked of him." If you're listening to the Clearview Today show, we want to know how we can pray for you as well.
There's a number of ways that you can get in touch with us at Clearview and share your prayer request, but the best way is by texting us at 252-582-5028. You can also send us an email at prayer@clearviewbc.org, or you can download the Clearview app on iTunes or Google Play. You know, on that app, there's a dedicated prayer wall that helps us to get to know what's going on in your life, how we can pray for you, and how we can take any necessary steps to get you moving in the right direction.
Thanks for listening. Now let's get back to the show.
Welcome back to Clearview Today with Dr. Abadan Shah, the daily show that engages mind and heart for the gospel of Jesus Christ. You can visit us online at clearviewtodayshow.com, or if you have any questions or suggestions for new topics, send us a text to 252-582-5028.
That's right, and we are here in the studio on this amazing Friday afternoon with Dr. Abadan Shah, who is a PhD in New Testament textual criticism. Dr. Shah, the show is touching so many people and so many lives, and we get so much encouraging mail. We usually don't get hate mail on the show. We usually don't get
It doesn't.
negative comments.
It's rare that happens.
But I do have to say that we have gotten our one of our first pieces of hate mail, and I hate to say it's from someone close to you. It says, because we did a show a while back on our email inboxes, how organized they were.
Mm-hmm.
I remember we made the comment where said let's ask Dr. Shah after the break,
yeah,
how organized his email inbox is. And we got a comment. I don't even want to read this. I don't even know how to bring it up.
What does it say?
It says, the only thing that is organized in Abadan's life is his desk in his church office. Love, Nicole. And I was like,
complete and utter.
we just did
betrayal.
a show yesterday on the beauty and effectiveness of a good Christian marriage, and to read this poison. This is poison.
This poison.
Well, sometimes there are parts of your body that hurt.
Right?
Like your head can hurt.
Yeah. I feel like it's betraying you a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, your elbow can hurt, your shoulder can hurt, your knees can hurt, your ankle can hurt. Sometimes in marriage, some
hurt.
people hurt.
Sometimes, man, love hurts.
That's so. For those of you who are like, you need to go back and listen to yesterday's episode.
It was a great episode.
But we talked about the idea of marriage, a husband and wife being connected, like Christ is connected, and Christ and the church are connected.
Yes.
And we're connected as the body.
Right.
So if part of your body is sending hurtful text messages,
And not even to him, but to the radio show.
Right.
Knowing that, she knows the listenership is in the millions, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is insane that she would do this.
I don't know. Maybe we need to send her a link just to yesterday's
I hope
episode.
y'all are going. I hope y'all ride to a date and listen to this episode. She doesn't even know what's coming.
Yeah, that's right. But we are called to be one flesh.
That's right.
So even if that part of the body may hurt, I'm sure I'm also a source of pain to her at times. I would say I am many times. So we have to learn to live together as one flesh, because that's what God said. That's what the Word of God says. For this cause, a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh.
That's right.
So in a sense, it all began from that one flesh. One is made two, but then in marriage, they're one again.
Yeah.
And so also, when it comes to spiritual life, our salvation, we are taken out of Christ in a sense. We are his offspring, would you say, in a sense? But we're also connected to him. We also become one flesh with him.
Yeah.
And I brought up Ephesians 5:30. There is a variant there in the New Testament where the shorter reading says, "For we are members of his body." And then it goes on to verse 31. The longer reading says, "For we are members of his body, of his flesh, and of his bones." But bones is plural there. In Genesis 2, it is simply Adam exclaiming, "This is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh," and it's singular. But when Paul is talking about the husband-wife relationship, the Christ-church relationship, he converts, he does two things. Number one, he inverts the order. So it's flesh first and then bones, or bone. But then he also makes the bone into plural, bones. So in a sense, he is carrying the same analogy that is, or not analogy, the same phraseology that is found in Genesis 2 to describe the husband-wife relationship, to explain the Christ church mystery. But he doesn't leave it that way. He inverts it, and he also brings in the plural. And the question then is like, what is happening? So is it a true reference to the Old Testament? Yes and no. Yes, it is a true reference, but no, because the order is switched. Adam saying, "Flesh of my bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh." Paul saying, "We are of his flesh and of his bones." So order is switched, and also the bone has become plural.
When you work with textual criticism like this, do you always assume intentionality on the author's part, or can you allow for, well, maybe he just used a similar phrase and wasn't thinking about Genesis at all? Or do you always usually err towards intentionality?
And it doesn't have to be in textual criticism. In just the field of New Testament studies, we have to do the same thing, which is find out why. Did the scribe do it, or did the original author do it? I would say the original author did it. Paul did it. Some people will say some scribe came and made the reading longer, and he made a mistake and made the order switch. So flesh came first and then came bones. And then he also made the bone into plural. I said Paul did that. Why would Paul do that? I find the answer in two places. One is in Septuagint. You find in the Septuagint many times those words, flesh and bones, are found in a combination.
Okay.
As many as, I would say, 17 sometimes.
Wow.
Flesh, bone, flesh, bone.
So there's a pattern.
There's a
discernible pattern there.
But it's also bone, flesh is also found.
Okay.
But then also in Luke 23, I believe 49, you find Jesus saying something similar to that. And he says here, if I can quote that, in Luke chapter 23 and verse 49, Luke chapter 24.
Skip one chapter over right quick.
Yeah, 24 and verse 39. That's the correct one.
Okay.
So it says, "Behold my hands and feet, that it is I myself. Handle me and see, for a spirit does not have flesh and bones, as you see I have." So here we see the order of Ephesians.
Yeah.
Not the order of Genesis 2.
Yeah.
Because it was bones and flesh.
Right.
But Jesus is saying flesh and bones.
So could it be that Paul is at the same time quoting from two different places, maybe three if you add the Septuagint in there? So he is going to Genesis 2, but then he's also looking to the Septuagint, and then he's also going to Luke 24:39.
It's like he's intentionally putting Jesus in that original analogy that Adam had made.
Right.
It's like he's almost like he's trying on purpose to draw our attention to the relationship between Jesus and Adam and the woman.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So be fruitful and multiply.
Yeah.
So that's what we have here. We're being blessed by God in our with our children.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like people, even Christians, forego having children based on some notion that they're too much work or they're a burden, or there's too many people on the planet.
This world is messed up. I don't want to be responsible for
Why
bringing
do
a child
people
into
say
this
that?
world. I'm like, why not? Why not
Yeah.
bring a Christian into this world and raise him up and help him turn the world right side up?
Even before I had kids, like that's typically what people say is,
Yeah.
once I had kids, I changed my mind. But even before I had kids, I was like, where does this line of thinking come from?
And I want to clarify, if you are called not to have children, that's fine.
Yeah.
This show is not to tell you, hey, you're living in sin because you do not have children.
Right.
You may not have children for various reasons. And we're not here to legalistically superimpose our idea of what makes a full family on you. You know, that used to happen, and people used to do those kind of things, and that's not what we're here for.
Right.
So maybe God called you to just be husband and wife. Okay, by all means, follow him. As long as you're following him, doesn't matter what anybody else says.
Right.
It could also be that you're not able to have children. We understand that too. That's what God has called you to do. Maybe God called you to have only one child, maybe just two. Whatever God has called you to do, what we're saying here is don't look at children as a burden.
That's right.
Change that mindset. Whether you have none or one or two or 20, just change the mindset behind children are a burden. I know one person who has several children, but every time you talk to him, I mean, it seems like he loves his kids, but he's always complaining about them.
Yeah.
And always talking about how much a burden they are and how much he's sick of them or whatever. You know, I guess that's his love language, to fuss and gripe about his kids. But I wouldn't want to be his son,
No.
Yeah.
right?
It doesn't feel very loving.
Yeah,
It
because
doesn't.
it comes across as a burden.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels like you had kids and then ended up regretting it.
Yep.
Right.
You know what I
Even
mean?
though you're joking about it, but still it's like a regret. So
Yeah.
so that's what we're talking about. Don't consider children are a burden. And there are some people who even consider children to be harmful to the environment. Like, hey, we're bringing all these kids. Do you realize how much carbon dioxide is going to be in the air? And then we're going to precipitate global warming because of this? Stop having kids. You know, they say that. And it's like, okay, for one, scientifically, not sure what you're doing here, but it's goobly gob.
Yep.
So let's stop that. Let's go back to the Bible. Because the Bible reminds us that children are a blessing from the Lord.
That's right.
In fact, God has commanded us to be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. And again, parenting is not easy. Children can be bad. You may not be called to have kids. We understand. You may have been called just to have one, but I hope the mindset is not one of, I'm just tired of this.
Right. Right. And it's one thing when the world says that, but when Christians who claim they're trying to build God's kingdom, you know, when you start buying into it, how are you going to build God's kingdom?
Right.
Are you just going to do good things? Then once you're gone, those good things cease.
Yeah.
Could it be that the whole key to building God's kingdom is to have children and to fill the earth with people who worship
Right.
God?
Or at least value children. And whether they're yours or not, value them and seek to two things. Seek to lead them to Christ, but also seek to help them become true followers of Christ.
That's right.
So the two different things.
Yeah.
Value them. And Jesus did that as well. He talked about kids, and he talked about how much he wants us to look at them as a model for a follower of Christ.
And I think a lot of people, I don't know, Dr. Shah, would you say that it's fair to say that people may start out like in that enamored, like I love my little newborn and sweet little baby that I can rock and dress and blah, blah, blah. But as kids grow, maybe their approach and their feelings toward parenting change because the difficulties are different.
I was afraid of that for myself. I was afraid that, and I don't feel that way now that my oldest is a toddler, but I definitely was afraid that once he wasn't that little sweet baby that could move, once he was like, you know, running around and stuff hanging out of his nose and sticky hands everywhere, I was afraid that my attitude on parenting would change. Praise the Lord, it didn't. But yeah, I definitely felt that.
Yeah.
Because you're in a setting where we value children. It's not by accident. It's not just by chance that your attitude has gotten better and you enjoy those moments. Like you had your life with Father moment with Gavin.
That's right.
Right. I mean, you were so upset with him for sort of telling on you.
Yeah.
Whether he really meant to or not, who knows?
Yeah.
But you had that moment, and you're able to enjoy that.
That's true. That's 100% true.
Yeah.
But in our culture, let me say one more thing about these various stages that you brought up, John, where our idea of parenting can change. The unborn, okay, we don't consider that as parenting under the umbrella of parenting, but the unborn are considered to be a burden.
That's true.
Right? Up until recently, which is last year, June 24th, 2022, we were living under this ugly shadow of Roe v. Wade.
Yep, that's true.
Where we had close to 64,443,118 abortions. And those stats are coming from the National Right to Life Foundation.
And that's just since the 70s, right?
Just since the 70s.
Yeah.
65 million people.
How many years is that? 2023 minus 1973.
That's
How many?
awful.
That's
I
like
mean, that's-
30 years.
That's
50?
49.
40, yeah. Unbelievable. Just in 49 years, 65 million abortions.
And the scriptures are very clear on that. Psalm 139, right? The famous passage on the unborn. It says in verse 13, "For you formed my inward parts.
Yeah.
You covered me in my mother's womb. I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and that my soul knows very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in secret and skillfully wrought in the lowest parts of the earth. Your eyes saw my substance, being yet unformed, and in your book they were all written, the days fashioned for me, when as yet there were none of them."
Wow.
I mean, beautiful, beautiful. And the translation is quite beautiful as well.
Oh, yeah.
So that stage is a wonderful stage, a stage that God refers to as a blessing. The psalmist, of course, Psalm 139 is calling it a blessed stage. But then the young baby arrives, the child arrives, and at first it is so cute and cuddly and, look
That's
at
when
him
we can all agree that
cry.
it's a blessing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
sweet.
Until it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you have just gotten to bed about 1:15.
Yeah.
It's been 45 minutes and you're like going into a REM sleep, right? And
Yeah. And then you take him to church and everyone's holding him and snuggling him and be like, this is a perfect angel from above. And it's like, I wish I would have called you about 7 hours ago.
Yeah.
When I was up with him.
Yep.
So there may be times that kids may not seem or feel like a blessing, but they are.
That's right.
They are a blessing from the Lord. And then kids begin to change, even in those early days, when you think, oh, look at my little one. And then the little one says, no.
Yeah. Attitude comes in there.
The
And you're
little
like,
one,
what happened?
We're starting to see that a little bit.
in school bites somebody or slaps somebody. And then you're like, why would you do that? I am so busy and I have so many things to do. I don't want to come here and be defending you.
Yeah.
Or not defending you, at least I want to come in here. You're making all hundreds and A's. I want to come in here that you are really doing well in the school play or in PV baseball or whatever it is. You're just like the best player and you listen to your coach. No, I have to come here because you hit somebody or you stole something. Why would you steal?
Yeah.
You need to steal that. What's your problem? What do you need?
It's so relatable. I remember.
You never want to get those calls as a parent.
No, you never. I'm not there yet, but I can already hear it. Be like, you need to come in. Gavin he's biting, he's hitting, he's stealing.
Put gum in the little girl's hair in front of him. and
He's
it's
pulling
just,
pigtails.
Yeah. So we have to even see that stage as a blessing from God. Because that's the stage where you get to share the gospel with them.
Right. That's right.
That's the stage we get to help them grow in their faith. Yeah, that's the stage you may have to discipline them. And that's the stage you may be frustrated. That's the stage you may be, at the end of your rope with, why are you doing that? Why? Where did you learn that? Stop.
Yeah.
But it's still a blessing.
And Dr. Shah, your kids, 2 of them are grown and married. One of them is beyond a teenager.
He's
and
sitting
then
right here.
He's sitting right here, and then you've got one teenager, and you're just about to enter the teenage.
Yeah, I've got 2 preteens running around at the house right now.
Wow.
It's very interesting. We were at an event here at Clearview, and my son, my oldest son, he's 11. He walks by me. He's 6th grade boy, walks by me, and we had an exchange. And I looked at another parent who is a parent of little ones. I said, it's a really weird transition in your parenting journey to go from being daddy and dada and dad to bruh. I'm like, okay, this is all right. We're
Yeah.
doing this. Okay. So it's very interesting. But even then, I mean, just to see their personality start to develop and to see who God has designed them to be and see their likes and their dislikes and things that they're interested in.
Yeah.
It's exciting. It's exciting to see them grow and change.
And Jesus blessed them, right? He took them and held them in his arms and said, whoever receives one of these little ones in my name receives me, and whoever receives me receives not me, but the one who sent me. So if he picked them up, more than likely they're not like a 20-year-old. They were probably 5 or 7, maybe 10 years old. And then he also set one of them in the middle of them and said, let the little children come to me. Well, he kind of held them, I would say. He said, let the little children come to me and do not forbid them, for of such is the kingdom of God.
That's right.
So he held them up as a model. But then there comes another stage, which is the teenager years.
Yeah.
Now, this is a tough one. This is the stage where you ask the question, what happened to my sweet little child?
Yeah.
How... What happened? Who took him away?
Who is this little miniature adult
What is this
walking around
alien
my
that has
house,
replaced them?
slamming
Yeah.
doors and doing
My
eating all
little
food?
boy who was so compliant, now he's like acting like he's angry all the time. And my little girl who loved being with her daddy or mommy or whoever, but now she doesn't want to spend time with us. What happened?
Yeah, no.
It's part of growing up. But even that stage is a blessing. Because that's how God has designed us, that in time we begin to separate from our family of origin.
That's right.
We begin to learn to stand on our own 2 feet. And those are not the times that you go, well, they're teenagers. No. Those are still the time where you correct them, where you still hold them accountable. But you understand that things are beginning to change. And so we had tough time with that age as well. Not like horrible, but we still had our tough days.
But I do like that you point out that the blessings are there. They're just different in each stage. And I think that's something that parents run into is they get to those teenage years and they think this blessing doesn't look like it did when they were little babies. Maybe the blessing's gone.
Yeah,
maybe
this blessing doesn't feel the same.
Yeah, maybe this just isn't good because I don't feel as snuggly and warm as I did when they were little babies.
Yeah.
But they're still there.
That's
and
right.
they're still a blessing, and you have to guide them, understand them, understand where they're coming from. Like we're dealing with the teenagers today. They're Gen Zs.
Yeah.
So know what their likes and dislikes are. Know what their fears and worries are. I mean, this is the most crisis-ridden generation.
That's right.
So meet them where they are. Still hold them accountable. Don't just let them do whatever, but meet them where they are and then lead them to Christ.
That's right.
Help them to grow in their relationship. So that's that generation. Then finally, of course, there is the emerging generation, emerging adult generation, which is ages 18 to 29. This is when they enter into the realm of, I'm an adult, but I still feel like I'm a kid. And you're trying to figure out, how do I now relate with this person? Because you're making decisions, obviously, they're not the best. But since you're an adult, it's not like I can't tell you what to do, but I want you to grow up and take responsibility and stick to things and don't make dumb decisions and don't waste your money and don't waste your life on friends who are not really friends.
That's right.
Don't make decisions that will stay with you the rest of your life, right? Sexual promiscuity or addictions or wasting money or just wrapped up in entertainment and all that. I mean, come on, you got to do better. But this is an age where we have to, as parents, understand these challenges and know that, again, it mirrors our relationship with God.
That's right.
Just the way as God sometimes veils himself from us. The early years of our spiritual life, he's right there.
Mm-hmm.
We can see his hand, we can see his work in our life, but then there comes a stage where, man, I'm praying and I don't feel God's presence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe is there sin in your life? Not that I know of. Or could it be that God's helping you to walk by faith
That's
and
right.
not by sight?
That's right.
Are you going through discouragements? Are you going through doubts? Are you going through fears and weaknesses and you feel like your shoulders are heavy? Yeah, pray.
Yeah.
But don't think that immediately there will be joy.
That's right.
The joy that comes when a little Holden sees his mama.
Mm-hmm.
His mommy here. My mommy walks out of the room. He starts crying. Now, with her 22-year-old, unless there are physical issues there or mental issues there, what if a 22-year-old does that?
Yeah, that's odd behavior.
Yeah. We would call that strange.
Yeah. What if 22-year-old? What if Nicholas starts crying when I walk out of the room?
Because he thinks
Yeah.
he's never going to see you again.
Dad's gone.
Yeah. I mean, you'd be like,
What's wrong?
buddy, you need to grow up.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
You need to grow up. So also with emerging adults, we have to learn that this is a different phase, but it's still a phase of blessing.
That's right.
That's right.
Sometimes it can happen where emerging adults will project their failings and their weaknesses on their parents. And if you're the parents who are just being blamed for things, don't lose heart. Wait on God's timing. When they, meaning your children, walk in your shoes, they will understand. And that's when they will come to you and say, hey, mom and dad, thank you for what you did. I didn't appreciate you then, but I do now.
Yeah.
What if they don't? That's okay. God appreciates you.
That's right. And that's a great encouragement for parents because we tend to think of that as like the ultimate failure or things have really gotten away from me. But it's a season of life.
Yeah.
And I think, even for me, looking forward to it, not looking
Yeah.
forward to it like I'm excited about it, but just looking forward as to what's coming in the future, having that understanding early on is more important than I can possibly
It's still a
express.
blessing. It's
That's
still a
right.
blessing.
That's right.
Absolutely. I love that we point back to it being a blessing. And I love that you, Dr. Shah, have brought out both with marriage and with parenting, it's a reflection of our relationship with God.
Yes.
That deeper truth that is available to us there. So good. If you guys enjoyed today's episode, you learned something about yourself, about relationships, about parenting, write in and let us know. 252-582-5028. You can visit us online at clearviewtodayshow.com. We encourage you to click that donate button at the bottom and become part of our Clearview Today Show family by giving and helping us reach the nations with the gospel. We love you guys. We'll see you next week on Clearview Today.